All right, get ready because we are going deep into Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker.
Oh, yeah.
You actually recommended this one, and honestly, just the title
Yeah.
grabs you right away.
Sure.
But what we really want to dig into are those kind of like surprising things about how wealthy people think about learning,
Right.
about becoming experts and their whole growth mindset.
Yeah.
And the best part is that this stuff,
Hmm.
it's not just about like
Yeah.
getting rich.
Right.
It can apply to anything that you're passionate about.
Yeah, it really can.
So I'm excited to dive into this one.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know what really struck me when I first read this book
Yeah.
was that he really kind of like calls out those sneaky mental blocks
Okay.
that we all kind of get tripped up on.
Uh-huh.
And right off the bat,
Yeah.
he tackles a phrase that I think we probably all use,
Uh-huh.
which is, I know that.
Yep. Okay.
And he actually argues that those three little words can really sabotage your success.
Okay, I'll admit,
Yeah,
especially back in my like
sure.
less financially savvy days,
Right.
I definitely had kind of a know-it-all streak going on.
Yeah.
But so if he's right,
Hmm.
clinging to that, I know that attitude can really put the brakes on personal growth.
It really can.
But like, what's the logic behind that?
So think of it this way.
Okay.
Imagine you're on a road trip,
Okay.
but you're convinced that you've already reached your destination.
Uh-huh.
So you'd miss out on all the amazing sights and experiences along the way.
Yeah.
You know, he actually shares a story about a millionaire friend of his
Oh, really?
who gave him some really, like, tough love.
Oh.
And basically said, if you're not as successful as you want to be,
Okay.
there's something you don't know.
Wow.
And that really shifted Eker's whole focus
Uh-huh.
from being right to being open to new information and learning.
Yeah, and you think about like where that shift took him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, from what I understand, he went from like struggling financially to being a best-selling author
Absolutely.
and like sought-after speaker.
Yeah.
It makes you think like,
Yeah.
is there a time that you kind of held on to that I know that
Right.
mindset and maybe didn't even realize it?
Sure.
And did it actually help you in the long run? Or did it actually hold you back?
Right.
It's something to kind of reflect on, right?
It really is. And it leads us to what he calls this
Okay.
learners versus learned dilemma.
Ooh, okay.
So many people,
Yeah.
especially those who've maybe achieved a certain degree of success,
Okay.
they get caught up in proving themselves right
Hmm.
instead of constantly expanding their knowledge.
Oh.
Eker argues that truly successful people understand that success comes from a certain order.
Hmm.
B, D, row.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not like get the stuff
Right.
and then magically be successful.
Exactly.
It's like be the person
Yeah.
who then can do the things
Hmm.
that lead to having the things that you want.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting conceptually, but
Yeah.
like how do you actually put that
Right.
be, do, heavy into practice?
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Well, and that's where those sneaky mental blocks that we talked about
yeah.
can really trip us up.
Okay.
He noticed this pattern
Hmm.
where people who are struggling financially,
Uh-huh.
they often resist investing in their education,
Okay.
while those who are already wealthy are constantly seeking out
Right.
new knowledge and skills,
Makes sense.
even if it means spending
Yeah.
a significant amount of money.
So they see it as an investment.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
That will pay off in the long run.
Absolutely.
And he's not sugarcoating it.
No, he's not.
He gets real
Yeah.
about the cost of
Yeah.
staying in that, like, I can't afford it mindset.
Right.
And he uses a pretty strong analogy.
Yeah.
He compares it to modern slavery.
Yeah. It jumped out at me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little harsh
Mhm.
at first glance, but
Sure.
I mean, when you think about it,
Yeah.
like if you don't have the resources
Yeah.
to invest in your growth,
Uh-huh.
you are kind of trapped in
Yeah.
a cycle where you're just struggling to make ends meet.
That's right.
So what do you think about that analogy?
You know, I think it really highlights that long-term cost of inaction
Yeah.
and how that can impact
Right.
your potential for growth in any area of life.
It really does make you rethink your priorities.
Absolutely.
And I know I've been there.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Sure.
oh, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't just leave us with this harsh reality check,
No, he doesn't.
right? He also offers some hope and encouragement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He firmly believes that success,
Okay.
whether it's financial or in any other area,
Uh-huh.
is a learnable skill. He has this great quote.
Oh, yeah.
Every master was once a disaster.
I like that.
And it reminds me of a story he tells
All right.
about an Olympic skier who started out as the absolute worst in his group,
Oh, wow.
And through consistent learning and practice,
Mm-hmm.
he not only caught up,
Wow.
but he ultimately became an Olympic athlete.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
But how does like an Olympic skier's journey
Right.
relate to the secrets of the Millionaire Mind?
So that's where it gets really fascinating.
Okay.
This skier, after achieving his athletic goals,
Mm-hmm.
took those same principles and that same dedication that he used in skiing
Wow.
and applied them to his financial goals.
Okay.
Eker uses this example to show how the skills you develop in one area of life,
Uh-huh.
like discipline and perseverance,
Yeah.
can be transferred and applied to achieve success in other areas.
I love that.
Including finances.
Because it proves that it's not like
Yeah.
some magical talent that
Right.
you're born with.
That's right.
It's something that you can learn and cultivate.
Absolutely.
It makes me wonder, like, what's a disaster phase
Sure.
that you've overcome through learning and dedication?
Right.
I bet you've got some impressive wins.
Oh, I'm sure we all do.
Yeah, that you might not even be giving yourself credit for.
Absolutely.
And this kind of brings us to another interesting point
Uh-huh.
that Eker makes
Uh-huh.
about this difference between
Yeah.
how wealthy individuals approach learning
Uh-huh.
compared to those who are maybe still striving financially.
Right.
He says that rich people seek advice
Mm-hmm.
from those who are already wealthier than them.
That's right.
Now, that seems counterintuitive
Yeah.
because you'd think
Sure.
that people would turn to their friends for advice,
Right.
Regardless of their income level.
Right.
But he noticed that those who are struggling financially
Uh-huh.
often turn to their friends who are in similar situations.
That's true.
I mean, it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
If you want to climb Mount Everest,
Right.
you're not going to hire a guide
Right.
who's never been to the summit.
That's right. You want somebody who has.
Yeah, you want a proven expert,
Yeah.
not just somebody
Yeah.
who thinks they know the way.
Right.
And, he tells this really bold story
Yeah.
about, like, meeting with this investment banker
Yeah.
who wanted him to invest
Okay.
a large sum of money.
Right.
And instead of just taking him at face value,
Yeah.
he was like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, can I see your financial statements?
Yeah, that's bold.
I know that's setting a high standard
Right.
for your mentors.
Absolutely.
So it's a really powerful example of how successful
Yeah.
people are discerning about who they learn from.
That's right.
They don't just take advice
Yeah.
from anyone.
Right. Right.
They seek out those mentors
Mm-hmm.
who have a proven track record.
Yeah.
So it begs the question, do you scrutinize the credentials
Yeah.
and the experience of your sources of advice?
Right.
Are you learning from those
Mm-hmm.
who've actually achieved
Yeah.
the results that you aspire to?
It's a great question.
So once you've found those mentors
Yeah.
and those experts,
Yeah.
what does Eker recommend you actually do with all this new knowledge and guidance?
Well, that's where his Millionaire Mind action plan comes in.
Okay.
And he lays out several concrete steps that you can take.
Right.
So we can get into that.
Let's do it. Awesome.
Yeah. And he really emphasizes the importance of not just passively consuming this information,
Right.
but actually taking action
Okay.
and applying what you learn.
So it's one thing to read a book,
Right.
but it's another thing to actually implement
Baby
what you
steps.
learned.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of his key recommendations
Yeah.
is to commit to reading
Yeah.
at least one book a month
Uh-huh.
on topics related to personal development,
Right.
finances, business,
Right. Absolutely.
like you're creating your own personalized curriculum
That's a great way to put it.
for success,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it can be so easy to get
Yeah.
overwhelmed by the
Yeah.
sheer volume of information out there.
Right.
So how do you even begin to choose
Right.
the right books
Yeah.
or resources to focus on?
Well, that's where those mentors and experts that we were just talking about
I know.
really come in.
Yeah.
Think about the areas where you want to grow
Okay.
and then look for books written by people
Uh-huh.
who have actually achieved success
Okay.
in those specific areas.
So kind of reverse engineer it a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask for recommendations from people
Right.
you trust and admire.
Okay, great. So find those mentors and those resources.
Yeah,
But then Eker takes it like a step further.
he does.
He says create an education fund
I love that.
where you set aside
Uh-huh.
a portion of your income
Yeah.
specifically for investing in your personal and professional growth.
It's like treating your personal development as a non-negotiable expense.
Yeah, like your rent,
Exactly.
your groceries,
That's right.
your education.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's a powerful mindset shift,
Yeah.
right? Because instead of seeing it as a luxury
Right.
or something you'll get to someday,
Uh-huh.
it becomes an essential part
Yes.
of your journey to success.
We'll love that.
So we've talked about finding the right mentors,
Yeah.
finding the right resources,
Yeah.
but then also taking action,
Right.
right? And Eker also talks a lot about
He
the
does.
power of repetition for rewiring your mindset.
Absolutely. So he believes that consistent action is key
Okay.
to transforming your thinking
Yeah.
and creating lasting change.
So it's not enough to just like read the book once
Right.
and expect that magical transformation.
It's not a magic bullet.
Right.
It's about revisiting those concepts,
Yeah.
applying them
Okay.
in your daily life,
Right.
and making them a part of your regular routine.
Okay. So it's really about making those things habits.
Exactly.
And then he takes it even a step further.
He does.
He says, for change to be permanent, it must occur on a cellular basis.
That's powerful.
That sounds intense.
It does. But what he's saying is
Yeah.
you need to actually rewire your brain,
Okay.
your neural pathways,
Yeah.
to shift from a subconscious level.
So it has to become part of like
Yeah.
who you are, essentially.
Yes.
And one of the ways he recommends doing that is through
Daily declarations or affirmations.
yes.
Yes.
The declarations.
Yeah.
So he provides a specific declaration
He does.
for each of the 17 wealth files that he outlines in the book.
That's right.
And he encourages readers to repeat these declarations out loud every day
It's ridiculous.
as a way to kind of like
Yes.
program their subconscious mind
Exactly.
for success.
That's right.
I'll admit, when
Yeah.
I first heard about this, it sounded a little woo-woo to me.
Sure.
But
Yeah, but there's actually a lot of scientific evidence
yeah.
to support the power of affirmation.
Yeah, so it's not just like some mystical thing.
It's not just hocus pocus.
Okay.
There's actual science behind it.
So it's really about like
Yeah.
consistently feeding your mind
Yes.
with positive and empowering messages that align with the goals you want to achieve.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about like mindlessly repeating words,
I know.
right? It's about like feeling the emotion
Yes.
behind those declarations.
Feeling the emotion.
Yeah.
That's key.
Really embodying those beliefs
Yeah.
and those attitudes
Absolutely.
that wealthy individuals have.
That's right.
So it's almost like you're intentionally choosing
Yeah.
to rewrite your internal script,
That's a great way to put it.
replacing those old limiting beliefs
Huh.
with empowering affirmations that support your goals.
I love that.
What's one of your favorite declarations from the book?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, one of my favorite declarations is
Yeah.
I am committed to constantly learning and growing. It's so simple,
It is simple.
but it carries so much weight
yeah.
because it's a declaration that you're dedicated to
Yeah.
expanding your knowledge,
Oh.
honing your skills.
And becoming the best version of yourself.
And I think what I like about that declaration is
Yeah.
it's a reminder that
Right?
the journey of learning and growth is never truly over.
It's not.
Right? There's always something new to discover. There's a new challenge to embrace,
Right.
a new level of mastery to attain.
Absolutely.
So Eker also has some interesting observations
Oh, yeah.
about how wealthy people view expertise
Mm-hmm.
and its connection to their income.
Okay.
So he doesn't shy away from saying that
Right.
rich people are experts in their field.
Right.
And he kind of implies that if you're not financially successful,
Yeah.
you might be mediocre or even poor in your field.
He's not afraid to say it.
He's not. And he even says,
Yeah.
look at your paycheck.
Yeah.
That will tell you everything.
I mean, that can come across as a little harsh.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I think what he's getting at is that
yeah.
your income is often a reflection of the value you're providing.
And the more skilled and knowledgeable you are,
Uh-huh.
the more value you can bring,
Okay.
which can translate into higher earning potential.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think it also raises some questions about industries where people might be incredibly skilled and passionate,
Right.
but maybe aren't earning a high income.
Right.
Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So, yeah, it's true that not all fields are created equal
Right.
in terms of earning potential.
Right.
But even within those fields,
Okay.
there's a spectrum of expertise.
Okay.
You know, I think Eker's point is that those who strive for mastery,
Uh-huh.
who are constantly learning and honing their skills,
Okay.
they tend to rise to the top,
Okay.
regardless of their industry.
So it's not just about having the knowledge.
Right.
It's about constantly refining it.
Yes.
Striving for excellence.
Absolutely.
And that kind of brings us back to
It does.
the importance of seeking out those mentors,
Wow.
and those experts who can guide you on that path.
Absolutely.
Remember that analogy of climbing Mount Everest?
Yeah.
You wouldn't just set off on that climb
No.
without a guide
You need a guide.
who knows the terrain
That's right.
and has a proven track record of success.
Uh-huh.
And the same applies
It does.
to achieving success in any area of life.
Absolutely.
So find those people who have already reached the summit
Yeah.
you're aiming for
That's right.
and learn from their experience.
That's how you get there faster.
But it's not just about finding mentors.
Right.
Eker also highly recommends hiring a personal coach
He does.
to help you stay on track
Uh-huh.
and accelerate your progress.
A good coach can make a world of difference.
I mean, they can provide that objective feedback,
Yeah.
hold you accountable,
Uh-huh.
help you navigate
Right.
those inevitable challenges that
Yes.
arise
Yeah.
along the way.
Absolutely.
It's like having a dedicated partner
It is.
in your success journey, someone who's really invested in helping you reach your full potential.
Yeah. It's like having a personal trainer
Okay,
for your mindset
I like that.
and your goals.
Yeah.
He can help you identify your blind spots,
Okay,
challenge your limiting beliefs,
yeah,
and develop the strategies and habits
Right.
that will lead to lasting success.
okay, so coaching sounds amazing,
It can be.
but I know it can be a significant investment.
It can.
And not everyone has the financial resources
Yeah.
to hire a coach
Right.
away.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out
Uh-huh.
and maybe can't afford coaching yet?
You know, there are definitely ways to access
Oh.
valuable guidance and support without breaking the bank.
Okay, great.
You can start by seeking out free resources like
Yeah.
online communities, podcasts,
Yeah.
or books written by experts in your field.
Yeah. So much good free content out there.
There is.
You can also look for mentorship opportunities
Yeah.
through professional organizations or local networking events.
Absolutely.
So those are some great suggestions
Yeah.
for people who are maybe just starting out.
Right.
But I think it's also a good reminder
Mm-hmm.
that Eker emphasizes that repetition is the mother of learning.
That's right.
So it's about consistently exposing yourself
Yes.
to those positive influences, whether it's through reading,
Right.
listening to podcasts,
Yeah.
connecting with mentors.
Ah,
Create an environment that supports your growth
that's how you do it.
and reinforces those positive beliefs.
Right.
I mean, it's so inspiring to think about
It is.
the potential that we all have
Yeah.
to achieve success
Uh-huh.
in any area of life
Yeah.
with the right mindset and the right approach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eker really emphasizes that anyone
Yeah.
can achieve success
He does.
with the right tools and strategies.
He does.
And he even goes so far as to say
Yeah.
that no one is born a financial genius, that everyone has the capacity to learn these principles
Yes.
and these strategies
Uh-huh.
that lead to success.
He believes in us.
He does.
Yeah.
So it's about shifting your mindset
Yeah.
from limitation to possibility.
Exactly.
It's about believing that
Yeah.
if they can do it,
Uh-huh.
I can do it.
That's the spirit.
And he offers some practical advice
Yeah.
on how to make that shift happen.
Okay.
One of the suggestions he makes
Yeah.
is to set aside 10% of your income
Okay.
for an education fund.
I love that idea.
So it's about making that conscious commitment
Yes.
to invest
No.
in your personal development,
Right.
just like you would invest
Absolutely.
in any other important asset.
That's an important asset.
And he emphasizes that this fund,
Yeah.
it's not just for like formal education.
Right.
It can be for books,
Uh-huh.
courses,
Yeah.
seminars,
Yeah. Excellent.
coaching,
That's right.
anything that helps you continue
Yeah.
to learn and grow.
So it's really about making your personal and professional development a non-negotiable priority.
A non-negotiable priority.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've been focusing a lot on the financial aspects of success,
Sure.
but Eker also highlights the importance of personal growth,
Yes.
right, as an integral part
Yeah.
of the journey.
Uh-huh.
He believes that the fastest way
Uh-huh.
to get rich and stay rich is to work on developing you.
That's powerful.
And he's absolutely right,
Yeah.
because your outer world is a reflection of your inner world.
Absolutely.
You focus on cultivating
Yeah.
those qualities
Mhm.
of a successful person,
Right.
things like discipline,
Right.
resilience,
Uh-huh.
a thirst for knowledge.
Yeah.
The financial success
Huh.
will naturally follow.
It will.
And it's like that saying,
Yeah.
you take yourself with you wherever you go.
That's right.
So if you've developed a strong
Mhm.
internal foundation,
Yeah.
you're going to see those results reflected
You will.
in every area of your life,
It's true.
not just your bank account.
That's right. Yeah. It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And that naturally unlocks your potential in all areas of life.
It's not just about chasing wealth.
No.
It's about that
Yeah.
inner transformation.
Yeah.
And he even says the goal of creating wealth is not primarily to have a lot of money.
Mm.
The goal of creating wealth is to help you grow into the best person you can possibly be.
That's a good one.
Right? So it's not just about the material stuff.
Right.
It's about using that process to become more than you were before.
I love that.
But he doesn't just drop these inspiring ideas
Oh, he does it.
and leave us hanging.
Right.
He actually provides some tangible action steps to put this philosophy into practice.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the most impactful recommendations he makes
Okay.
is to surround yourself with people who are already where you want to be. Remember, he observed that rich people take advice from those who are richer than them, while those who are struggling financially tend to stick with friends in similar situations.
Yeah, it's like if you want to learn to cook like a master chef,
Right.
you're not going to ask your friends who can barely boil water for tips.
Exactly.
You want to be in the kitchen with someone who has mastered the culinary arts.
That's right.
And he takes it a step further and suggests actually hiring a personal coach.
Yeah, coaching.
Might seem like a luxury.
Sure.
But he argues that a good coach can really accelerate your progress towards any goal,
Absolutely.
whether it's financial, personal, or professional.
Yeah.
Having that external support and accountability can really make a huge difference.
It can.
It's like having a dedicated partner in your success journey, someone who's invested in helping you reach your full potential.
I like that.
You know? And what I appreciate about Eker is that he doesn't shy away from tough love.
No, he doesn't.
He's direct about the need for action.
Yeah.
He constantly reminds us that knowledge is only powerful when it's applied.
That's right.
He even has this great line. He says, "For change to be permanent, it must occur on a cellular basis. Your brain's wiring must be remade."
I mean, it sounds intense, but
It does.
it's true.
Yeah, so it's not enough to just read the book, attend a seminar, or even have this deep dive conversation.
Right.
We have to actively put these principles into practice
That's how we make a difference.
in our daily lives.
Yeah.
It's about taking action, experimenting, and even making mistakes along the way.
Right. Mistakes are just learning opportunities in disguise.
Yeah, I love that.
That's where real growth happens.
This has been such an insightful deep dive
It has.
into secrets of the millionaire mind.
I agree.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling super inspired and ready to put some of these principles into action.
Me too.
What about you?
Yeah, I think what really resonated with me is that reminder that success is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
It's about continually learning, growing.
And striving to become the best version of ourselves.
Absolutely.
In all areas of life.
It's about embracing that process.
Yeah.
And finding joy in the journey.
I like that.
Huge thanks to T. Harv Eker for sharing his wisdom, and to you, dear listener, for joining us on this exploration.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Okay.
You know, Eker focuses a lot on financial wealth.
He does.
But we've also touched on how these principles can apply to any area of life.
Right.
So here's a question for you to consider. How can you use this millionaire mind approach to achieve mastery in your relationships, your health,
Okay.
creative pursuits, or any other area that's important to you?
It's a great question.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep those millionaire minds engaged.